Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Bob Georgiou from Remax Accord doing the rolling realtor thing again. This week is coming to you from last week of October. It is well, let's just check. It's Tuesday, October 26th. Thanks for watching, tuning in. So this week had a nice little cyclone burst, as the weather people call it. Tons of standing water around and made a whole mess of the area. Since then, we've had threats of rain and drizzling throughout the area, and pretty much made a mess of things, but glad to have it. We needed the water, and when you have 1 or 2% fall in one day statewide, and more than that in Northern California. Folsom Reservoir was up 15 feet, so good to have the rain at least coming our way, and first change of seasons in about 2 years, as a matter of fact. So let's get to the nitty-gritty. Our market has been stable since we came out of the July doldrums. Single-family homes have been doing very well. Inventory's down. Prices have recovered some of what they lost in the doldrum month, the holiday month, and everything's back up to about where it was in about June. We're seeing inventory tightening in the single-family home department. Pretty much across the board. Condos are doing the exact opposite thing. There's a little bit of softness in every price point in every market. There's a little bit of softness in every price point in every market, which starts to show up in the numbers. It's not big, not anything to be worried about. Normal stuff for late October. We're going, we're at the first month of the fourth quarter, and so things are going to begin to taper off into the holidays. Does look like we're going to get the 3% drop that we sometimes see in the fourth quarter over the holidays, when buyers leave the market, when buyers and sellers both leave the market for the holidays, and only the most motivated sellers are left. And this is what fuels the January push, the big price increases that we see in the late first quarter, second quarter, and notwithstanding the Fed moves on interest rates, I see the first quarter as being fine. First 2 quarters of next year is going to be a normal California high demand push on low inventory, and no matter what the interest rates do, whatever the Fed does, you're not going to see interest rates go from 4, where they are about right now, up to 6. It's just not going to happen. You may end up seeing maybe 0.5%. This is negligible for the amount of cash that's in the market right now, especially with sellers selling their homes at these prices and their large equity stake. We're going to see a lot of that fueling the stabilization against market moves that we're beginning to see elsewhere in this area, definitely into July next year, no matter what bad news comes down. Even if half the buyers left the market, all that would do is normalize things a little bit. What would have to happen is sellers would have to flood the market at the same time for us to see any meaningful downward pressure, and by that I mean nothing more than the seasonal fluctuations we see here and there. 3 to 5% in July, 3 to 5% at the holidays. Those little fluctuations are normal, healthy market moves. Allow markets to reset and buyers to come and go from the market. So that, that's not going to change into June of next year. After July doldrums will be real interesting to see in 2022, and after that, going into the election cycle. To be frank with you, all the indicators I use to prognosticate have been mixed. I've been predicting this market not to go up for about 4 or 5 years now, but the quantitative easing has been effective enough that it has kept the real estate market very strong through a whole bunch of challenges, including COVID. But there are headwinds. Other parts of the country where they have more normal markets are beginning to see reshuffling. Not going to call it a correction, not going to call it a bubble burst. I'm just going to call it a reshuffling. The dynamics, buyer psychology is beginning to wane, where buyers have choices, and buyers have raised their standards in those markets, not making the compromises they would have to make in low inventory markets. Making fewer compromises and just waiting around for homes that are in better condition. If your home is a fixer in those markets, you're going to see the prices reflect the costs to bring them up to market standards, and that's what you're seeing in the market. It's in nothing more than healthy rebalancing, where buyers have choices and the prices of the property reflect the condition of the property, probably more so than they have in about 3 to 5 years, depending on what market you're in. Here in this Bay Area market, still a strong seller's market. The indicators are pegged on the high end. I don't see any changes to that in the near term. We do know interest rates are going up. They have been going up. There are experts in the mortgage market that are predicting that this is a temporary bull market in a secular bear bond market, which means that by the election next year, you could see interest rates even lower than where they were 2 months ago. I don't know who's right. It's really hard to say. The Fed has been very successful about keeping rates down with quantitative easing. As you know, we've got a debt bubble in Washington. They have to get themselves out of that, or at least moderate it to one degree or another. And that's going to have an economic impact down the road. Whether that happens in 2022 or 2023 after the election, it's anybody's guess. We know about the supply chain issues all across the country. Buyers want to buy stuff. There's no stuff on the shelves to buy. That's going to have an impact. We know that China and the Evergrande scandal, the Evergrande collapse that I mentioned in prior videos, is spreading. They've got a real estate correction going on in China. Their market is down 7. Your buyers are out of the market like 70%, or the market is down 70%. Market activity is down 70% probably. And it's not only Evergrande. There's been 2 other companies that have announced that they're on the verge of default. So the real estate bubble has definitely burst in China. This is going to have secondary impacts on the banking system globally. U.S. banks are invested in those real estate deals. European banks are invested in those deals. And the Chinese leadership has said protect the buyers first, and then domestic banks second. So the rest of the global banks are third on the list, and their internal economics, since they manufacture everything, are going to have downstream effects here in this country later. That may actually pull us out of the supply chain issue, but into a definitely larger problem is what I'm guessing. But these things are over my pay grade, so my opinion doesn't mean much on that. So all told, going to have a normal holiday season. If you're a buyer, might look to save a little bit. Don't leave the market. All things considered, there's market's going to tighten up again in the spring. Going to fuel stabilize prices or fuel slightly higher prices for the next 4 to 6 months. The way things look at today, I reserve the right to change my opinion on a moment's notice without notice, because a lot of things going on in the world, and it's just I'm not the one who has all the answers and has the resources to make solid economic forecasts based on everything that's happening right now. So We'll just keep an eye on it at the ground level here on the front lines and fight the good fight. If you're looking for real estate, like what you see here, give me a phone call, send me an email, shoot me a text. Happy to help you if you live in the 680 corridor, the greater region surrounding. My name is Bob Georgiou with Remax Accord. Thanks very much for taking the time to watch the video. Like, share, subscribe, and I will catch you on the next video, which hopefully will be next week, but based on my erratic schedules, could be tomorrow. Not really. Anyways, have a great day.